This is Anthony, and I'm here with another episode of Thoughts, and it's going to be about Jews, which will be very tame, but will kind of go in a negative way, only just to give maybe not necessarily devil's advocate, but give into some of the conspiracy theories while also having a reasoning behind it. But I'll start with the crucifixion of Jesus, who, depending on who you listen to, Jews killed Jesus, and the person who gave him up was Judas. And if you look into whatever Bible you may read or whatever you're getting your information from, he might have did it with money or whatever, price gift that may use to persuade him to give up Jesus, which I think it was because of he said he was the king of Jews or something like that, and Romans heard that or something like that, and they said, yeah, that's not cool. Not necessarily because you're proclaiming you're God or whatever, but because you're saying you're next up for to be king, which would displace whoever. I guess I don't know. I think that's how it goes. The information, guys, is from a podcast called Alex O'Connor, and sometimes I'm not. If I'm using, sometimes I might not have got the information, remember the information correctly. So I think that's how it went. But essentially, for Jews were never in power, and for them to, kill Jesus, it would be impossible since they don't have power. The only people who had power were Roman people, the Roman Empire. So they killed him, and the reason might be because he said he's the king of the people or king of Jews, and they heard that and they're like, nah, you can't be the next of higher, not God, but the next of higher of the throne or whatever, whatever they however they bestow their power to the next person in line. So that's one thing, but I guess either the Roman Empire or whoever, maybe Christianity, wanted to paint a negative light on Jews, to have this negative look on them, so that they just be, you had to place blame on someone, and you're not going to place blame on the people who accept who's the majority, who accepted your beliefs, compared to whatever who accepted their beliefs, which wasn't their beliefs before, but now became a acceptance later in the Roman. I don't know exactly when, but Roman Empire adopted Christianity because I guess it was overgrowing and stuff like that. So, who do you want to be the enemy? Do you want the Jews? Christianity? Who you want to be friends with? The group, the Roman Empire who adopted your religion, or the Jews who are opposite of what you think? So that might be another reasoning for distaste for the Jewish people, or at least placing blame on somebody other than the Roman Empire, who actually had power to do what they said they did, to crucify him, and not only that, attack Jesus because if what they were saying on the podcast were saying was true, or if I'm remembering it, because he said he's the king of the people or king of Jews, whatever, which was not necessarily he's a God, but saying he's the next in higher to take the recall. Repeating myself, I'm sorry, but context. I guess Judas was the person who gave up Jesus, which is a fun little road you want to go down. As I said, Alex O'Connor podcast, go to him, watch his stuff. But in the Gnostic Bible, it's a crazy thing that happened. If you want to believe that. So what it is, Jesus as a person is Jesus. Within Jesus, there's a soul, Christ. I guess you want to call him Christ, or I forgot how when. But he told, because I guess the 12 disciples or whatever, they were having a little talk and they were praying and stuff like that, and Jesus was laughing at them like, you're praying at the wrong person. You think you're praying at this person, but you're really praying at this person who gave you this material world and stuff like that. I said, only you, Judas, who knows what I'm talking about, because you're aware that we don't fuck with this guy who created the universe, because that guy is a bad person. You're aware that there's levels to this life we live in, and that person, whatever, but you know where I'm at, I'm coming from and stuff like that. You know who I was born from. No, either he was born from the soul, Christ was born from, either from, I forgot what the God was, but she is what the universe is made by this, I guess. Watch Alex O'Connor's speak up, because he talks about how the universe is made and the God we're praying to, and it matches these things where they show God as a donkey head, like an idiot. I guess because the donkey resembles idiot, and if you look at that, it's Alex O'Connor. Watch it, and you'll be amazed with how that Bible goes, and it explains a lot of things about the universe in the Bible. But as I don't want to go to that tangent. Either way, he said, my soul is separate from Jesus. You know where I'm coming from, and you're aware that we're two different things. And he said, I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna tell you something. We're gonna see what's up. And he told him, hey, give me up, kill me, give me up to the authorities, let them know, hey, whatever, and help me escape from this body of Jesus. Help me escape from the body of Jesus, so I could go up and leave this place. So I go back to the, I forgot what it's called, parallelism, something like this, spiritual world. He said he wants to go back there. He doesn't want to be around here. So give me up, help, get the Roman Empire to kill me, so I could go. And I guess atop of the hill, he's with Jesus. No, he's with, I guess, Jesus, the figure of him. At least that's what you get, because that's all he knows. And then he sees Jesus being crucified, and he sees the spirit of Jesus above life. Well, essentially, that spirit of Jesus is actually the soul of Christ or whoever, and it's laughing at Jesus being crucified, and it's like, and that's a crazy one. So if you want to take that, Judas, he's like, but it doesn't matter. Even though the Roman Empire killed Jews, it was a Jew who gave up Jesus Christ. If you go by the Gnostic Bible, Jesus kind of wanted the Christ, not Jesus. Apparently, he said Jesus expected to live a long, prosperous life, but he didn't see. So there was no expectation that he was going to die, but the soul wanted to leave. He said he wanted to get out of this material world, and so that's one of the reasons why a Jew gave up Jesus, and that's crazy. That's cool. That's a little, if you want to believe whatever. I'm following this Gnostic Bible thing, so this is very conspiratorial. If you're not even into religion, and if you're into religion, you're going to the part of the Bible that they do not even acknowledge. At least Christians and Catholics, they do not acknowledge nothing. At least not nothing, but they don't acknowledge those parts of the Bible that are just so out of this world. So that's one thing I want to clarify about the Jews, okay? That I think where where people have the anti-Semitism against Jews. They believe Jews killed them. Even when the Roman Empire did it, you could be out because say, oh no, it was still a Jew who gave up Jesus. But even then, you could look at Jesus and Jesus, not necessarily Jesus the person, but the soul inside Jesus Christ. So I wanted to get out. This is not even about how they're going to pin it years after. This is about me leaving this place, saying peace out. Okay, so we're that's where we could just say that we could move that to the side. Now, the Hitler stuff. Nephilim. Apparently, Jesus. Gnostic Bibles. You can even go to the Apocrypha Bible, where they talk about the giants and the Nephilim. Giants are basically Nephilim, and if you want to go even to the mythology side, if you want to call it mythology, because if you're going to call Greek mythology, you have to put Bible as a mythology, because if you even hear some of the things on just Christianity, Catholic, or wherever, it's bonkers. So I think the only reason why they have the canon Bible, is so they don't get lumped in with the mythologies of Greek and the other religions that might be considered mythology or whatever. Nephilim are the Watchers. Apparently, the Watchers are whatever gods or whatever in the spiritual realm who had sex with humans and created giants, hybrids, humans with god powers and stuff like that. Apparently, Israelites, when I guess when the flood came to take out the Nephilim, the giants, whatever. There was still some left over, and guess who was out there guess who was sent to go kill them? The Nephilim. Guess who was going sent out to kill them? Israelites. Jews. So when you think about that, this is where I'm going to get a broader look at the whole picture of how maybe anti-Semitism might be stem from Nephilim trying to get their get back way back, get their get back since it happened. And so that's what happened. Nephilim were getting iced out by Israelites, essentially were Jews. Bringing Hitler into the equation, and if you know Hitler and his little kookiness, he went completely conspiracy theorist. Let me find. I didn't even know this. He went to go look for Thor's hammer, which goes to Greek mythology, which Nephilim are giants, or in the Greek mythology, gods, or whatever you want to call it. Hitler was searching for Nephilim, and Nephilim obviously wouldn't like one particular group, Jews. So that's the other thing. Maybe the reason why Hitler targeted at least Jews was because they were probably talking to the Nephilim. That whole thing with Hitler and that whole Nazi thing, and how they approached war and their way of, like, they were into aliens. They were, if I remember correctly, they felt they were able to talk to telepathically to other beings. So they were into a lot of crazy stuff, and I think maybe once they understood is a Nephilim probably don't like Jews, maybe this is what caused even a more hatred against against Jewish people. So I think that's one of those other things where you're like, Are the Nephilim? This is cookie time. Are the Nephilim still rocking, still in this piece, trying to take out the main target, which is Jews, and trying to take them out because they essentially try to kill them out, and trying to create a narrative, not only because of Christianity or the Roman Empire, trying to make sure they wipe all off the blood from the Jesus. They were the ones who killed Jesus. In reality, they were the ones who killed Jesus, and try to put it on the Jewish or Christianity. I'll see having this, not really saying out loud, but anti-Semitism toward Jewish people, just because who you would rather have, the Jewish who don't agree with maybe your beliefs, or the Roman Empire who fully adopted your beliefs at some point. These are creating this narrative against anti-Semitism toward this group, either the Nephilim or Christianity, or to just I guess I don't know why, just don't like them, to get rid of them. But that's why I say the Nephilim seems more possible. Nephilim is like, we want to get rid of these people because they fucked us over. They try to take us all out. That's why Christian, it's just more or less of maybe because religious people want to have the upper ground and saying, well, our religion is superior to yours, so which way we could go about it to make you look negative, we're gonna go about that. Okay, so those are my main talking points of the Jews and the anti-Semitism towards them. Now, I guess here comes the negative. I think all those could be true. They say both could be. That saying, both could be true. Is the anti-Semitism, it stems from either from Nephilim or Christianity or placing blame elsewhere, just to have that. And then there's the other one where you could even spread it out, to saying, because one of the tactics Hitler would use is he would say Jewish owed all the banks. They owed I think he said they owed banks. I forgot what else. Anyway, it's one of those things. It's like, why they're like doctors. They were all, they were just labeling them with high, I think they were doctors, and they owed all banks. That's one for sure. I think they're doctors and lawyers, and they said these are the people who are taking your money, taking control of the world, taking control of everything, and before you know, you're gonna be ruled by Jewish people. And that's one that could be the reason for that being an issue, is if it's like the whole theory of Hollywood. If you see men wearing dresses and stuff like that, or we call either it's like, oh, look at the Jews are doing this to make fun, or they're taking control and trying to create whatever it may be, whatever I really don't know those reasonings behind those things, other than them controlling Hollywood, the banks and stuff like that. And if they have a greater control of everything, that means they have a greater control of the populace. I think greater control of the people, and so you get that fear that comes from it. And whatever those within those banks, obviously the money and stuff like that, and greedy and stuff like that, and Hollywood controlling their, whatever the case may be, controlling never, or making fun of a particular group of people, whatever the case may be. And all those things are used against Jewish people. As I said, here comes a negative. What if both can be true? Not the necessary all the with the Nephilim and the uh, Jews killing whatever, but the whole taking control. Not necessarily it's a bad thing, but just saying that maybe there's a thing where the way I would put it is America. We could say America's great. Obviously, some people would say, "Oh, it's not great for me." In reality, it is. You could fucking cry me a river. You're America. You're living fantastic. You create the world you create in America. You could pretty much create your world how you want to create it. Depending on who you are and how you want to go about your days, that's on you, and that's how the world's gonna be created for you. Because essentially, America, you're essentially free. There's some hiccups, there is some racial profiling and stuff like that. That's not going to go away. But you know what I'm saying. But in general, yeah, unless you're in the 70s, 80s, I think 90s. No, about probably like 2000, close no 2000, somewhere around 2000, 2010, somewhere before 2010. You were pretty much. It's a scale from the inception of America. You're at the -10, and as long as you go, I think at least 2000, you're at like a 3 with all the racial profiling and all that stuff. At least a 3, maybe 4. I wouldn't go 4, but at least a 3. Right now it's like a 2 or 1. 2 or 1, and some people disagree, but that's it's my opinion as well as it's theirs. Fuck, that's my train of thought. But America, it's essentially for you. You're cool, but once you go out there, depending on what country you're in and what situations their country's dealing with. Say like what is it? Israel? No. Where's the one we were just in? Oh damn, what was that? Oh, Iraq. I think it was Iraq. And how we were, even though they said we were, the whole story about President Bush and saying they had nuclear bombs, which in reality were just fighting a war for oil and stuff like that. At least that's what my understanding is. They were fighting oil, and we were over there pretending we were fighting for nuclear, which wasn't the case. And you see, oh yeah, America is like, yeah, America's good, but over here, when they get a different look at it, like, no, you guys are killing our people for oil. You're lying to everybody. And are we, in Americans, are we safe? Are we, yeah, but on the other end, people are dying because of oil. That and there wasn't a fight that needed to be fought only of themselves and not of what us. They didn't need our intervention if there was going to be a war or not. We were totally unnecessary, and that's where that's where I want to how I want to paint that anti-Semitism. It could be the case of we call controlling the major things, which I like. It's more or less when you constantly hear, you're like, maybe they have some truth. When they start showing some threats and it's hard to connect, you're like, maybe they have some truth about anti-Semitism, and maybe they are controlling the banks. They're controlling the banks, and not only are they controlling the banks, they're controlling us, because not only they're controlling banks, they're controlling, because all the money part they have, they're buying all the houses, they're buying all that, and what happens when nobody can own a house? Well, we're renting. And guess what? We can never afford anything, because no matter what, Jews are going to, what I'm saying? That's where, what I'm saying? It's like, that's where it's like, you're like, you can see how how they could point to wherever. And those things can't necessarily be negative, but it could be looked at differently when it's like, say like, America's like, we're doing good, and we might get cheaper gas, but we might have to kill people. but in reality, it's like, do we really need that? Can we just pay for? I'm okay with paying extra gas if if a child gets to survive past 80 in Iraq. In this case, it would be I'd rather own my property even if the buy-in purchase is 2 mil. I'm okay that I'm willing to be able to buy a house, whereas in the anti-Semitism idea is they're owning everything, and instead of being able to buy, you're only able to rent it because it's probably bought and everything that's owned. And same thing with the Hollywood. I guess I don't know what the Hollywood is, but other than they're owning studios and maybe making I guess belittling race or people by or making it's just like making men wear skirts or flamboyant or whatever, so to I guess make less of them, I guess. But I guess that's where the negative comes in. And when it comes where I'm willing to be like say okay, both could be true. Do I believe that? Not necessarily. Only reason why I'm like, where it's like I don't, but it's like when they connected, I was like, maybe, but and really no, because if anything, it'd be like my cuckoo time. It would be maybe it's the Nephilim behind the scenes trying to attack the Jewish people to make this negative outlook toward them. That's more where I'm going at, but I understand how that sounds crazier than just saying Jewish people are just trying to own everything, which they're trying to own you and make sure wherever the case from Hollywood to banks to lawyers to whatever other anti-Semitism that is being used against them. So I think even though we reached that little dark spot where we could say both could be true, where Jews are being unfairly attacked and being used to progress their religion or diminish their relevance into this world, or try to squash them out, or wherever the case may be. Then there's the other part where there's a chance that those two things I brought up are not even those. Well, at least the Jewish thing being killed by Christ, which is not true. Well, which is not true. It is what we call. And if you want to go crazier, Jesus asked Judas to give him up because whatever the case may be. But more or less of the Nephilim and Hitler thing, and that's where you could throw that off. That's a little cuckoo for you. But it could just be that layer of Jews control everything, and that anti-Semitic. Well, that kind of relates to Hitler trying to use that against Jews, and when they were taking control. So that's actually lumped with Hitler. Take off the Nephilim, Hitler, and the anti-Semitism that passed over to America and into the world in general. That could be also true. Well, you could take that off. That not necessarily true, but in my sense, that's how you could get that. That you could get that both could be true. Not necessarily in a negative way, because you could look at the one example I was trying to take with America, going to wars and doing some things that are not unnecessary for us to do just to, get gas or progress not progress. To move to the agenda, what I was going to say. Either way, to get America more out there and while actually trying to conquer the world, but necessarily with us, expanding the United States, but more or less expanding our arms out and reaching out to other countries in recall. If that made any sense, I think that's where some of the anti-Semitism might come from, and how maybe some of the have some truth. The stereotypes may have some truth, in the sense that they don't know they're doing bad, but when they think they're doing good. But that's more or less of me giving a negative look, giving a negative point to the anti-Semitism that they might like. Oh yeah, that's a good reason, which is not. And what in real life, my belief is maybe the cuckoo one is Nephilim, maybe trying to push an agenda to take them out because they essentially the Jews, Israelites essentially try to kill them all. Nephilim, which is God, humans, God, humans, and But that's where the tough part comes in, and yes, I understand how that part will go if anybody hears that. But I think in general, these are parts of the things where some of them come from. Well, obviously, the Jewish thing and the Christianity and Roman, that's an obvious one. Not everybody, but at least most people know about that. The cuckoo sides are mostly me going off what I've watched, and I'm like, oh, that could be a connection to why this anti-Semitism has continued to be a thing, which was Hitler trying to get in contact with the Nephilim, and Nephilim wanting to probably take out Jewish people because Israelites try to kill every Nephilim alive, apparently. Apparently. And so that's where I think those things are coming from. Where I think the cuckoo side, where maybe why anti-Semitism is continuing to be a present thing in today's days everyday living. Cool. Anyways, that's it, Jews, and the reason for anti-Semitism. The reason why I believe anti-Semitism is still a thing. Thanks for watching or hearing.